Hello, my name is Timothy LaBelle, and today I'd like to talk to you about work-life balance. How does one survive success and find a life of balance? So work-life balance, what is it and why does it matter to me? I can tell you right off the bat that this is one of the topics that we've covered in the class that really resonates with me, and it has been something that I've struggled with throughout my career, finding that right balance between all these things I value in my life. So, what is work life balance? Work life balance is when we are successful at navigating the role related expectations between ourselves, our work, our family, and our communities. And then, why is it important to me? Well, I am a husband, I'm a father, I'm a student, I'm concerned about my own health and longevity, I'm a work leader and a subordinate, and I'm a member of my own community. These are all things that are disparate and are pulling on me at all the time. They're things I value, they're things that I know I need in my life. And so these are the things that I need to learn to balance. And to be more specific, I need my family. My family is where I find my greatest joy, my greatest commitment, and my greatest responsibility. They're really the reason I do all these things. That when I come home at night, that is my reward, right? To see my family, to spend time with my wife and my boys and my knucklehead dogs. These are the reasons that I do the things I do, and that's my reward for the day. And then I need my health. Being physically and mentally healthy allows me to be a better me. It allows me to be a better me at home. It allows me to be a better me at work. I need my community. I am a part of a thriving community of people who support one another and find joy in working toward a common goal that is indicative of our common values and interests. We live in a small town, and we see a lot of these people everywhere. My wife actually is the middle school PE teacher, so she's kind of a local rock star. I can't go to the CVS without people shouting out Mrs. LaBelle. Um, you know, so these are things we're a part. Everybody knows kind of our business, and we know theirs for better or worse. But our boys are continually active in sports and academic activities, so we see people there, and we've watched their children grow. They've watched our children grow. We're really a part of this community, and it's something that we need. And I need my work. I mean, ultimately, I need to work. My family relies on me to provide the means to supply the goods and services to support our lives. Without me working, and my wife working, but without me working, it would be a struggle for us to keep the lights on, to put food on the table, to put shoes on our kids' feet, to allow for them to be active in the things that they love to do or to vacation. All these things wouldn't be possible unless I didn't work. But also, I value my work because I enjoy it. I mean, it's something that I really find gratifying in the end. It's something that I enjoy. So ultimately, I have all these things that I know I need, and all these things need me at the same time, right? They're pulling upon me because they need me. So for me, the struggle has always been to find that balance, which is what we're talking about here today. And I wrote here on the left a question that I think it'd be good, and I haven't always asked it, to ask myself to make sure I'm square and that things are okay. So the question I would ask myself is, am I surrendering more of myself for my work than I am for my family, my community, and my own health and happiness? And I can't say that I've always done well with that. So when work-life balance goes wonky. So I know if I can't answer that question, am I surrendering more of myself for my work than I am for my family, my community, and my own health and happiness? If I am surrendering more of myself to work, then things are wonky and off kilter. So how do I know when things are out of balance? Well, I know that we are, or I am, giving more to the job than the job is giving to me. So often in my life and career, and you will find this in yours, I'm sure, or have already, you have given your all and you've worked long hours and you've met the challenge, and it just seems like the reward isn't there. There isn't a fair exchange of value there. Our jobs are causing conflicts in our lives, or our jobs are keeping us from our families, our friends, our focus on our own health and well-being. Perhaps my job's just making me cranky, and my life seems untenable because of it. The people that are at work or at home don't want to be around me because I am so focused or so off that I'm not a pleasant person to be around. And oftentimes I know my work life's out of balance because I can't make my kids' sporting events, or I can't help my wife around the house as much as I would like to. These are things that are indicative of a life out of balance. And then lastly, I wanted to focus on this: stress is present and prominent. That's how you know things are out of balance, when stress is present and prominent. There are times, and there will be times in all of our career lives, where the stress from work, you just can't shed it, right? You can't take it off like a coat when you return home. It follows you wherever you go, keeps you up at night. So if stress is present and prominent in your life, then I would say that is a good indicator that things are out of balance. I also wanted to highlight here some stress-related health problems. These are things that you maybe wouldn't think were the product of a work-life imbalance and stress, but these are definitely things that I've experienced in my life. So trouble sleeping, headaches, constipation, diarrhea, irritability, lack of energy, anger, sadness, lack of focus, loss of hair, tooth and gum disease, cancer, depression, anxiety, obesity, heart disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, neck and back pain. Like I said, I can honestly say that a lot of these have been issues for me. Trouble sleeping, it continues to be a challenge. I have a very heavy workload at work. We're challenged all the time with crazy deadlines. So I really have a lot of trouble sleeping. I'm still trying to learn and work my way through it so that I can sleep better. But I spend a lot of time thinking about those deadlines and thinking about the challenges in the next day. And it is hard for me to let go of that. So how do we fix it? This is something I need desperately and continue to work on. So how do we fix it? What are some strategies to achieve work-life balance? Well, firstly, we can know ourselves, right? We can determine what is important to us and determine what deserves our time. And then once we know that, we can determine how much of our time should be devoted to those things we find most important. Really allocating time in a purposeful way towards the things that matter, right? And making sure it's even Steven, or as much as you can get to that with it being healthy. Know our personalities. We should evaluate the good and bad in ourselves so we know what we can expect from ourselves and determine what we need. What does that mean? That means we take a really honest look at ourselves and determine what kind of personality we have. Am I a really driven person? Am I very competitive? Am I driven toward the goal almost ruthlessly? Or am I more laid back? Am I pretty chill in all the things I do? Everything rolls off my shoulders. Maybe I'm more empathetic, but I'm more apt to procrastinate and do those things. Or am I a mixture of both? If I can honestly evaluate that, then I'll have a better perspective of my own needs and also my own capabilities, right? Am I able to pull back from this and give more to this? If my personality won't allow it, then I know I'm going to be challenged in that way, and it may cause me more issues. So having an honest idea of who you are and your capabilities and your personality is really important when you're sort of allocating your time and trying to figure out how best to keep things balanced. And then lastly, learn to say no. If I could give any t-shirt or any phrase to a young professional, this is it. And it took me a long time, and it's still something that I'm learning. But learn to say no. Um, more often than not, unfortunately, in my early career, I said yes more to work than I said yes to my family. Um, and I look back, and that's a frustrating part of my life, and I wish I hadn't. Um, but I felt like the way I was raised, I felt like I had to meet the challenges at work. That it was more important than anything else, and it's wrong. I know that sounds crazy, but that is how I felt. Now I've actually grown to better understand myself and the focus of my life and what matters to me. And also, I've grown as a person, and I've grown some courage so that at work, when every time somebody asks for something, I can now say honestly, no, my people can't do it. And also, as somebody that has people that work for him, and that I know my decisions will affect them and their work lives. I'm not going to take on a challenge that is going to beat down my people or ask more of them than needs to be asked. Um, Develop emotional intelligence. We should develop the ability to monitor our emotions and the emotions of others while still understanding the difference between them. And maybe a better word there would be gauge our emotions and engage other people's emotions. Get a sense of where you're at and where they're at. And then this one piggybacks right off of that. We should work to use this emotional knowledge to inform our thoughts and our actions. So really, it's reading the room and reading yourself. Um, at work, perhaps there are times when I'm angry and it's not the best time and most productive time to confront or discuss a topic with somebody. Maybe I need to step back and think about it and resolve it at a different time. And maybe that other person, by gauging their personality, I realize this maybe isn't the time that I need to go to them with this concern. There's a better time later. And that obviously this applies at home as well and in your personal relationships. And then we should strive to understand and find productive ways to deal with our anger, our stress, and our frustration. This is huge, at least in my life. Um, Recently, I have found that exercise is the greatest stress reliever in my life. And I feel, in fact, I know, and this is just something for me, that if I don't exercise every day, if I don't exert myself, um, then I'm just not right. Things do get out of balance, and I can feel the stress building in me. So it's really important that I core out that time during the day to spend on myself and to, you know, continue to be fit or to work towards self-health. All right, develop time management skills. Identify time wasters in our lives, both external and internal. Now, there will be external factors in our work lives that we can't control, that are just really barriers to our time, right? They're always going to be in the way, and they're going to be challenges. Um, but we can look at them honestly and think about whether we can eliminate them or find better ways around them. And then the internal time wasters are maybe flaws in our character, or maybe not so much that, but maybe our own desires, right? Maybe this just isn't something I really want to do and I keep putting it off. And maybe if I'm honest with myself, I say, well, maybe it's not something I do want to pursue or do. And maybe I'm wasting time not doing something that doesn't matter in the end. Use technology and organizational aids like smartphones, tablets, and computers to help us plan and organize our schedules. This has evolved throughout my career. I guarantee it'll continue to evolve. I know that I use my phone uh, often to help me plan my day and keep track of things. I use this computer to help me organize a calendar so that I'm making sure I'm prompted when I need to be doing something. and then I can take a long view of my month as it lays out. My personal commitments at home, and then my work commitments are all here so that I can plan and sort of function and be sane. But I also am a really tactile person, so I keep a paper calendar on my desk, and I get real, I find it gratifying to check off the things as I get through them or do them. Also, one of the things that technology provides, for instance, I'm at home today and I'm able to record this at home, but I'm also working, right? So I'm at home with my dogs, and today, in a few hours, I'm going to go pick up my sons. My wife happens to be in Washington, D.C. on a school trip with one of our sons. So technology is allowing me to get work done at home, to be productive, but also not neglect the other things that matter to me. And lastly, take a darn vacation. This one has also been a real challenge to me, and I think attitudes have changed over time. It was really hard, and it was almost a point of pride, actually, again, I hate to say this, that when I started working, I built up all this vacation time, but I just don't use it. I just keep working forward and pushing the ball down the road. We need to look past all the reasons we don't take a vacation. Scheduling, money, workload, and just do it. We owe it to ourselves and our families, right? I mean, they deserve you full time for some time. And then when we are not vacationing, we need to encourage ourselves to relax and be quiet. I have a blessing and a curse in my life. I drive an hour to work, and I drive an hour home. Sometimes it's more than that on the way home. But I have that time allotted, and there's no way of getting around it, where I'm in my car by myself. And I do see benefit in that. I mean, it is productive, actually, to sit and to be quiet and kind of focus either on myself or just focus on being quiet and finding peace. So get out there and have a work life. These are some keys, some additional keys to, work-life balance. Self-knowledge, we kind of went over it before, but it's really imperative that we have that self-knowledge so that we know what makes us happy at and away from work. If we're honest about the things that make us happy, we know how to get them, right? Or we know how to chase them. Understanding our careers and our workplaces. Is this the right job and work environment for me or for us? Be honest in your evaluation. I mean, is this really a place that I can prosper and be happy? And then know our options. Well, technology and our job allow us to work away from the office when needed or desired. Is that an option at work? If it's important to you, if you have other commitments, does your job allow for remote work to be done, or telecommuting, or whatever it is? Know your options. And then step back and reflect. Determine if we and our employer are happy with our work-life balance, right? Be empathetic to your workplace. Sometimes it's not their fault that they can't allow you to do these things. I know that my job really needs me to be there most every day. We create product, we design it, and then we print a lot of it there on the premises. So I have to be there. It's important that I'm there. But there are times, like now, that I can get away. But there are jobs where you have to be there, and you have to be there the whole time. And if that isn't for you and that isn't in your plans, then you need to find another place, and you have to be honest with yourself that that's not going to work out. So step back and reflect. Determine if we and our employer are happy with our work-life balance. So anyway, that is my presentation. I really enjoyed this section in particular because it does help me to focus on what's important and continue to challenge myself to find that work-life balance. Thanks very much.